Thanks for joining us tonight. We've got another vidcast for you, and tonight we're featuring Jay Regan. We'll be talking with him in just a few minutes, but just want to remind you we are live, and we appreciate you checking us out, but also want to remind you that we stream 24/7. We've got free apps for the streaming, and you just go to the respective stores and you type in YLN and download it for absolutely no money, so it's absolutely free. Then we've got a newsletter that you can get. Just email us at contact@yourlocalnote.com. We got a concert calendar so you can see where your favorite artists, your bands are playing, and we also do an update a couple times a month. Hopefully we try to do it every week, but sometimes it misses. So a couple times a month we're doing an update to let you know the latest things that are going on in the Philadelphia music scene. So just doing a little housework here, telling you what we're doing here at yourlocalnote.com. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a song from Jay Regan's latest album called Dreams and Nightmares. It was released in May. The song is Curses, and we'll be back after that, and we'll talk with Jay right here on yourlocalnote.com.
I should have seen it for the first time. You weren't meant to be mine. Take a trip from emotion, then you will see what's right.
And the song is called Curses. Jay Regan is the singer and songwriter of that song, and it's off his latest album called Dreams and Nightmare. This is yourlocalnote.com. I'm RJ. Mike is behind the scenes, making sure that we look and sound very good, and he always does a great job with that. Hey, Jay, welcome to yourlocalnote.com.
Thank you, RJ. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you joining us. Let's talk about this song first, and then we're going to take a step back, and we're going to see how you got into the music business, and then we'll talk about songwriting and all that other good stuff. So Curses is a song you wrote. What is that about? Is this the songwriting process that you're cursing as you're trying to put it together? What goes on with it?
Sometimes it is like that, but this particular song And a lot of the songs from the CD encompass a time in my life where I decided to make a change. I actually was out of music for a while, and I decided to devote my time to going back to school and winding up opening a business.
Oh, okay.
That failed miserably. It gave me perfect fodder for a lot of music and a lot of material.
Okay.
So Curses deals a lot with the frustration of having a business and having a business that failed.
Okay. Well, a lot of people fail as they try the first time. And it's a very a tough process, and there
absolutely.
are tons of challenges. Okay, let's then take a step back. How did you get involved in music? I mean, is it something that when you picked up the guitar, you're like, this is what I want to do? When you were a kid and you just went through that? Well, just explain the process.
Sure. I mean, I've always loved music, even as a little kid, but I never could really grasp the instruments. I took piano lessons when I was a kid. I took guitar lessons as a kid, but they just never seemed to stick. I didn't have the motivation to keep going with them.
Okay.
Even though my mother played piano, my grandmother played piano, and all my uncles were in string bands growing up.
So there's a lot of influence there.
Yeah, lots of influence. I just couldn't equate the music that they were playing to what I wanted to play, and I think maybe that was part of the thing. I didn't feel like playing Mary Had a Little Lamb,
right,
Golden Slippers or whatever they were playing.
Okay,
so it didn't stick. Fast forward many years, a friend of mine's selling a bass guitar, and he's like, I don't want it, and he's like, give me $50 for it. So I give him $50 for it, and I'm like, what am I going to do with this thing?
Right.
But for some reason, I picked it up and I stuck at it, and I just was self-taught. And I just realized that I really loved making something make noise,
Uh-huh.
And then the singing portion of it, I've always sung. I've always loved.
Okay, so that was something that came naturally to you.
Yeah.
The playing didn't, but the singing did.
The singing was always there. I was in choir in church, and I always had a decent voice. So it was more the instrument that was the hardest thing.
And that held you back because you could be a singer. You don't need to play.
Yeah, that's true. But I didn't really have the opportunities to get to something where I could sing like that, like a band or something like that.
Okay, then you got into a band shortly after that?
I did. The bass guitar got me into a band. A friend of a friend played guitar, and he's like, "Oh, you play bass?" And I'm like, "Well, I own a bass." But so we started practicing. I knew one song at the time, maybe two, but I knew them really well. So it was enough to impress him.
Right,
I knew how to play very well.
Right.
But of that mindset where once I stick my mind to something, no matter what it is, I'll achieve it.
Right.
To some form or fashion.
Okay.
So we started playing. We started learning songs. We got 40 songs. We started booking gigs. We went out and played as a duo, he on guitar and myself on bass.
All right.
And me singing, he singing. And it just progressed from there. And from that, we added players. And then I started getting into bands. But we were doing mostly cover material.
So when did you start writing songs?
I started writing songs probably in the mid-'80s.
Okay.
And at first, I was just putting lyrics to songs like, for instance, like Led Zeppelin, Bron-Y-Aur is a instrumental that Led Zeppelin does.
Right. So
and I just started putting lyrics to their instrumental songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then it progressed from there. I started picking up guitar and piano because I was getting more and more interested in music.
All self-taught then?
Sorry?
I said all self-taught.
Yes.
After taking years of lessons, you come back and you start teaching yourself again.
Yeah, well, I never really took the lessons seriously.
Okay.
Never practiced, and much to the chagrin of my parents.
Yes. Okay. So now you're writing songs, original songs, followed after putting some lyrics together and practicing with instrumental songs from different groups.
Yes.
Then did you go into another band after that, or how did that?
Yeah, I was trying to push my original music onto the cover band. And the person that I had started playing with, John, he's still a good friend of mine. We play together all the time as well, John Heffron. He didn't really want to do original music. He was happy doing the cover music. So he wound up leaving the band, and I was trying to transform the band into an original band, and we had some minor success. We still played the cover songs But we still had about 15 of my original songs that we go out and play, so we started booking original gigs as well.
Okay.
That band dried up, and then I went into a full only original band that I had a lot of local success with.
Okay, very good, very good. Then you left the music industry.
I did.
Went to school. Went into business.
Yes.
And now you're back.
Yes.
You just released your first solo album in May, and you're getting a lot of material from your journey through running a business.
Yes.
And are you the type of songwriter, and I'm always curious about this, that difficult times makes it easier for you to write than when things are going well?
Absolutely.
So you need trouble in your life to really get into writing songs.
It helps a whole lot. Yes.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea.
Is it an outlet? Do you think it's an outlet?
Yeah, that's what I really do think it is. I think it's an outpouring of a cleansing, if you will.
Yeah.
You know.
I find it interesting because there have been numerous songwriters that will say, yeah, I mean, when things are going bad, that's when I'm at my best writing. Are you the type of songwriter that once you start, you have to finish it? Or can you write some stuff, put it away, and then come back to it and start working on it again?
Yeah, I can come back to it. A lot of times I'll come up with a hook or a riff that I like, and I just don't have the rest of it to go along with it.
Okay. And
I'll come back to it. The phones are great nowadays. I can just record ideas on a phone.
Right.
I've always had multi-tracks and things like that, so I was able to do that as well.
Okay.
But sometimes I hit an inspiration and I just have to go.
And then you just go, start to finish.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. What we're going to do now, we have a special treat. The second song that we're going to play, actually, Jay's going to play live. So why don't we get to that song now, and then when we come back, we'll talk about what that song means, and we'll continue on talking about you and your career. Okay, Jay?
Very good.
All right. The song is called Blame. It's from the album Dreams and Nightmares. This is Jay Regan on yourlocalnote.com.
Dreaming of something, lying and waiting for you to come into my life. But I don't know. Prince or a pauper, Cindy Lauper is playing on the radio all the time in my mind. Do you think sometimes we're all the same? Do you think sometimes we're all to blame? I don't know how to blame. I just don't know. Primping in mirrors, hiding in attics. How can this feel so right, so wrong? I give up. Once was a child, lost in confusion, beaten, sacrificed my love for the world, for the bloody world. Do you think sometimes we're all the same? Do you think sometimes we're all to blame? I don't know how to blame. I just don't know. Yeah. blame. I just don't know. I am to blame. Imagine my disgust, I'm to blame.
All right, that is Jay Regan, and the song is called Blame, and it's from the album Dreams and Nightmares. This is yourlocalnote.com. Thank you so much for joining us for our vidcast, and of course, this will go up in, I think, a week from Monday, 2 weeks. So this will be up on our site, featured for the full week, but we appreciate you joining us live. All right, Jay, great job. And
Thank you.
That song, as I'm listening to it, it sounds like you're beating yourself up. So you tell us, what is that something where you were just angry at yourself and you just wrote that song?
Yeah, I think I blame myself for a lot of the things that I went through.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's something that a lot of people do. They blame themselves for things, but yeah, I think going into the business, I kind of had a feeling in the bottom of my stomach that it wasn't the right thing.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of forced myself into it.
Oh, but you're still doing it.
So no, I'm at the business.
The business.
The business
okay.
thing.
Okay.
So I kind of like ignored my gut feeling.
Right.
And that's a little bit of what Blame is about. But as I was writing the lyrics, some of the lyrics are more personalized, more internal. But other part of the lyrics are sort of how people can blame other things and other people and other events and other things going in their life, but they're really the ones to blame.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. It's very easy sometimes. If the computer's not working, it's the computer's fault. Things like that. I totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Do you have to experience something to write about it?
No.
Okay.
No.
So sometimes you can take something and just create a story around an
Absolutely.
idea.
Yeah, I'd be in trouble if I did some of the things that are in my songs. I'm sure my wife wouldn't appreciate some of them.
Okay.
One of the songs you'll be playing called Red Hot Mama is totally fictionalized.
Okay.
So
do you have to warn her that this is a fictional song, that this did not happen?
no, she's really cool with it. She's grown up around music. Her brother is a great musician. He actually plays on one of the songs we'll be playing later on.
Cool. Very cool.
So she knows the business. She knows, and she's just like my number one supporter.
Oh, nice.
I couldn't do any of this without her.
That's a big help when the wife supports.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Excellent. Okay. When you are writing, I mean, do you, or when you're finished with a song, besides your wife, are there other people that you'll maybe play the song for or run the idea by, or is it just, you know what, I know what I want and I'm going to do that?
I generally only let her listen to them.
Okay.
She has a really good ear. Other than that, I don't really. I kind of, like you said.
Because you know a lot of people in the business.
I do. My personality is that I don't like to burden people with anything.
Okay, so in asking them a favor, you think you're putting them out.
Yeah, I don't ask favor. I ask favors sometimes when I need, help moving or whatever, help me paint or moves from furniture, stuff like that. I don't want to burden people with my music and put them on the spot, because if they're your friends, they're not going to give you a really honest opinion. Anyway.
Hey Jay, this sucks.
I mean, my wife will be dead honest and say I don't like it, or it sounds
but you got
like
no
the
choice.
Beatles.
You got to listen to her, right?
Well, yeah. Well, she has a good ear, so I do listen to her.
That's good. That's good. When you recorded this last album, Dreams and Nightmares, now this was your first solo project, but you had experience recording albums in the past. What was the difference between recording it with a band and recording it solo?
For me, it was a lot slower.
Okay.
Because I was playing every instrument on the...
oh, really?
Yeah, except for one song where I mentioned my brother-in-law helps me with guitar, lead guitar. I did everything myself.
Drums?
Yeah, mostly drum programming. I don't have a kit, but I do know how to play drums
a little bit
too. So.
Oh, okay. So you put everything together.
Yeah.
Did you record this at a studio, or did you do this yourself?
Both.
Oh, okay.
I did most of the tracking of the individual instruments at home. I took half of the album to a studio and overdid vocals and had them mixed and mastered. And the other half I did totally at home and sent out to get mastered.
Okay. So, and before we got on the air tonight, you did mention that you're already working on your next album.
I am.
So, are you already thinking, are you going to do the same process with the next album, the way you recorded it? Or are you thinking maybe I'll just do it all in a studio? Or what is the thought process? Or you're not even there yet?
No, I am kind of thinking about it now. It's really the investment of doing it is what is holding me back.
Right.
I would do it, if I could afford it, all in the studio.
Right.
But now... the first album, Dreams and Nightmares, I had all this burden of music on my back that I needed to just get off. This one I think I can do like a song at a time, and I think I'm going to use a little bit of the studio I used this time because I like the guy who did it with me, the engineer.
Okay.
But the other one I want to bring in some of my friends that are really good players, and I want to do it as more of a band effort.
Is it difficult? I mean, you had, it sounds like, and I could be wrong on this, but it sounds like that the fact that you left the industry, went back to school, got into business, and it didn't go the way you wanted to, that sort of fueled your songwriting. Now that that's over with, what is fueling your songwriting now? Because you seem like a happy-go-lucky guy. So, and you said that you have to have a little struggle in your life to make it happen. So... Do you find songwriting now a little bit tougher, or is it still going the same?
No, I think I probably am still a little bit in that stage of where I'm getting out of the doldrums of my life, and not doldrums as I'm bored with things in my life, but I guess where my life is right now. We're still struggling somewhat financially.
Right.
So there's still some inspiration there.
Okay.
And I'm just running with it because the songs are pouring out still.
Oh, good.
But they are on some of them, they're on a happier note, though.
Do you get nervous when they're happy songs? As far
maybe
as can you complete it and be the quality that you have maybe sometimes after you work your way out of a song or work your way through a song? There's probably a satisfaction of I was angry about this or I was frustrated with this, and boom, I put it together. Boy, that came out well. But if you're happy, you don't have that same, I guess, drive to a certain extent.
Yeah, maybe it's just channeling your anger. Maybe it's just your ride home from work in traffic or something. I don't know.
No, I should be writing songs all the time then. I have to travel the Vine, the Schuylkill, and 95, believe me.
Yeah.
Normally I'm just using words I don't want to say now. So that wouldn't go well in songs.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the moment I'm able to still have the inspiration. So, and I'll use it till it dries up, and then maybe I'll just write happy songs.
Okay. Now, when you're out performing, do you bring other people, or are you just a solo artist and it's just you and your guitar?
Generally, it's just me and my guitar.
Okay.
I love playing with people, though, and I'm actually in the process of trying to put together a band now.
That will back you up.
Yeah, because on the record or on the CD, I mean, there is a lot of instrumentation on it. And it just doesn't really come off live the way I want it. I don't consider myself one of those acoustic singer-songwriter types.
Okay.
Because the songs are multiple genres. It's not all singer-songwriter,
right.
8-minute commiseration type of songs.
Got it.
Because I like different types of music, and I hope people find that on the CD, that it jumps from different styles.
How much different is your music than when you were in a band? I mean, is it a drastic change?
Yeah, it's a big change. I was more into like heavy metal, hard rock back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you miss that at all?
Yeah. I mean, I still want to do some of the songs like that. A couple of the songs on the CD are songs from that genre.
I was going to ask you about that. Did you take older songs and rework them?
I took about 3 of them because they never really made it onto a CD, and I wrote them and I liked them. So I kind of reworked some of them.
How difficult is that to take it and change a song from something that's hard and heavy into something that's a little bit less than that?
I find it to be not that difficult because I generally write, even back in the day, in the hard rock day, I would write on acoustic guitar or piano.
Okay.
So there was always a basis that I could go back to, when I wanted to bring it down a little bit.
Okay, so the foundation was always there.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. All right, I'll tell you what, we're going to go to song number 3, and it's called Red Hot Mama, and you already teased that a little bit. This is not something that's true.
That's right.
Didn't happen in your life. All right. Well, you'll explain that more after we play that, okay? We're hanging with Jay Regan tonight. This is yourlocalnote.com. We're talking about his music, his last album called Dreams and Nightmares, and this song is called Red Hot Mama on yourlocalnote.com.
You met her in a hotel bar on my way from Chesapeake. Some girls are meant to be stars, even without silver screens. A sharp-tongued red-headed lady sitting there biting her thumb. She said, "Slide over, Larry." He said, "My name is Tom." He should realize what she do to him. He was out of her league. She was a red-hot mama, came from Alabama, but grew up in New Orleans. She was a high-class lady who never said maybe, more explosive than gasoline. Gasoline. Oh, Lord. She slow danced through earth, wind, and fire, boogaloo to the blues. She marched to the beat of a drummer who never even had a clue. He was just some kind of salesman, hailing from the state of PA, who was led up, set up, shut down, lay down, woke up in the morning and his wallet was gone. He should realize what she'd seen him drinking clouded his mind. Oh Lord, you may sympathize, but I realize what a hell of a time. She was a red-hot mama, came from Alabama, but grew up in New Orleans. She was a high-class lady who never said maybe, more explosive than gasoline. She was a red-hot mama, came from Alabama, but grew up in New Orleans. She was a high-class lady who never said maybe, more explosive than gasoline. Gasoline.
And the song is called Red Hot Mama. That's Jay Regan. This is yourlocalnote.com. That's from his latest album. It's called Dreams and Nightmares. He released it in May. All right, Jay, you did talk about this a little bit. You gave us a little tease. This is not a true story.
Correct.
But what is the story about?
The story is about a call girl
Okay.
who preys on a salesman who comes into her bar.
Okay. A naive salesman?
Yeah, maybe. He may have had a few too many.
Okay. A drunk salesman. Okay.
Yeah. You know where the story goes from there.
Yes, very good.
His wallet is stolen.
Where did you get this idea? It was just one thing that just popped in your head, and you're like, oh, let me just start tooling around with this, and then all of a sudden you got a song?
Yeah, I wrote the chorus of the song. Red Hot Mama came from Alabama.
Okay.
And then it just progressed from there to seem like a fit for the title.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, and we have to again. It's not a true story.
Not a true story. It's never a salesman.
Very good. All right. Let's talk about where people can find your music.
Okay.
where can people find your music?
If they just Google Jay Regan, Jayregan, they'll be coming up with a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
I'm not the doctor, and I'm not the guy who does wheelies on his motorcycle.
Yeah, you have a fairly common name, so that could be an issue. So.
Yeah. But www.jregan.us is my main site for my original music.
Okay.
JustJmusic.com is what I use for my cover material, because I do cover material shows still.
Okay, and that is, you also have Facebook?
Facebook is /Jay Regan, Just Jay Regan at Facebook.
Okay, and then Twitter?
Twitter is /JustJSongs.
It's a challenge keeping up with all these social media things.
It is. I had to write them down. So.
Okay.
But you'll get everything you need from Jay Regan in Google. They'll all pop up eventually.
Excellent. And do you have any shows coming up?
I do. I have a show tomorrow night at my hometown bar, the Horsham Inn.
Nice.
From 7 o'clock until 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
I have a show up in Flemington on Sunday at a place called Coco's Cafe.
Nice.
And a bunch more on my website. I booked like 5 shows today. I'm starting to get people calling me, so I must be doing something right.
That's a nice feeling, isn't it?
It is one of the most wonderful feelings ever.
Excellent.
Let me tell you.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Please let us know so we can put all the shows that you're going to be playing on our site too, so we can promote them for you.
Yeah, I do have an all-original show coming up at Shady Katie's, not this Thursday, but next Thursday.
Okay.
That I would like to get people.
Do you ever, when you're doing you're working your cover songs, do you ever put in some of your original material?
Absolutely. I try to put in at least 1 or 2 a set.
Okay.
That's what they get when they get me. It's my outlet to expose my music.
Well, I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, and the bar owners they don't mind, or they don't even notice.
Yeah.
So it's all cool.
That's good. Yeah. All right, very good. Now, there's another thing you wanted to talk about, and it's something you're doing. It's a sort of a side project.
Yes.
So it's Philly Ames, AIMS.
Yes.
Explain.
Well, before I go into it, Philly Ames, if you look that up, Philly AIMS, you'll come up to an autistic site.
Oh, okay.
Somebody else has that, but I have the WordPress.
So it's phillyames.wordpress.com.
Correct.
Okay.
And I just got the inspiration because, as I was telling you before, I love music.
Mm-hmm.
I like going out to shows. I like seeing new bands. I mean, there's hardly a band that will play that I don't have at least some sort of respect for.
Right.
Just because they're out there doing it.
Yes.
But most of the times, I mean, as you know, the Philly area has some really, really, really good bands.
It has been,
awesome bands.
It has been a pleasure discovering the bands that we have. And I know we've been doing this over 3 years. We just scratched the surface. Mm-hmm. Because when we first started out doing this, my responsibility was to get the bands and get the musicians to, book them and so they would come. Mm-hmm. When I first started out, I was sending out 10 to 15 emails a week and getting, 3 or 4 responses. And it was tough. So there's a whole bunch of bands that we like that have never been on this because they never responded to us.
Oh, wow.
And we don't hold it against them because we were new. So we just welcome them to, if they discover us, to come on with us. But I know what you're going through. You just love hearing the new bands.
I do.
I totally respect musicians getting up there and doing the things because I'm terrible at it. I'm the worst guitarist. I can't carry a note with a wheelbarrow. So it's one of those things where I see that and I'm like, I can't do that. But boy, I just have a ton of respect for people who do that.
Yeah. I mean,
so
it does. It takes a lot of...
So you write about it?
I do. I write about it. The inspiration came, I played a show with a guy named Tim Kay. He's from Baltimore, but I figure anybody that plays in this area sort of fits into my nook.
Okay.
Niche, whatever. So I was listening to it on the way to work because I don't really listen to radio that much anymore. I'm sorry, I know, the deaf note. I do listen to sports radio sometimes, but that's about it.
That's all right. And there is radio there. Okay.
And I listen to my Phillies, but
nice.
I was listening to the CD and I'm like, oh, God, this is so good. and nobody's listening to it right now. And I'm
Right.
like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to write an article. And that was it. I wrote the article and like, no, okay, now what do I do with it?
So you put a blog together.
I put a blog together, and I probably have about maybe 10 posts right now. And I'm not just doing bands. I'm doing people that are also promoting the music scene too.
Okay.
So at some point, I'll probably be hitting you up to do a while.
Absolutely. Be more than happy to talk about it and help you out. Again, it's Philly Ames, AIMS, .wordpress.com. So you're going to trying to help out. You're basically doing what we're trying to do, is just get the word out and expose the talent that is in this area. Like I said, and the thing is, when Mike and I first started, we're not from this area. You know, Mike graduated from LaSalle, and my wife got a job in this area, so I followed her, and we've been here now, 7 years or so. So when we first started out, we're like, okay, I was aware, being a little bit older, I was aware of the history of the Philadelphia music scene.
Yeah, deep history.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I was aware of that, but I wasn't sure how the current music scene was playing out. But more than pleasantly surprised, there is just a ton of talent here. And this is why we're excited about what we do, because it's not like, oh, okay, we've been doing this 3 years. There's really not many people left. I mean, there's a ton of people that we want to talk to and play their music. So
that's great.
I see what you're doing, and let's work together on this.
Oh, yeah, I would, whatever. I mean, a team effort. We need to get Philly back on the map with our original music. It was there for a little while back in the 80s with the Hooters and Robert Hazard, but their time is then, and now is now. But
there's a ton of talent. So we'll work together on this, and we'll continue our work, and that's great. So it's phillyames.wordpress.com. All right, Jay, it's been great hanging with you.
Same here.
Really appreciate it. Let's talk about your last song. It's called "Know Enough Already."
Yes, "Know Enough Already" is an old song. I did it a long time ago. I've always loved it. My brother-in-law played some great acoustic guitar on it, solo, and it's basically about the media and how the media overblows things. Okay. And it's a point where we know enough already. We don't need to hear anymore.
Okay, this is good. The last few minutes, he ripped radio, and now he's ripping media. My whole entire life, he's been kicking me in the butt now.
Well, you always remember me, won't you?
Yeah, very good. All right, Jay. Despite the last couple minutes, I still appreciate the fact that you came in. No, your music sounds great.
My pleasure.
I really enjoyed this. So we'll get to that in just a second. Just want to remind people again that we do brand new vidcasts every week. Check out the website. Also, let us know, because we've made some changes due to the fact that we were hacked a couple weeks ago. It gave us the impetus to change up some things. So the site's changed up a little bit. Let us know what you think, and you can send your comments to contact@yourlocalnote.com, and that's the same place you can send to get the newsletter. We also do an update. Check that out. That's up there almost every week, but we get it up there often. And of course, we've got the streaming 24/7. Nothing but the best music in the Philadelphia area. That's all it is. It's just all Philadelphia area music. So check that out. And then, of course, our concert calendar, where you can see where the bands and musicians are playing. All right, wrapping things up with the song "Know Enough Already" from the album Dreams and Nightmares. This is Jay Regan on yourlocalnote.com.
Sticks just break my bones, words that will kill me. Every image that I see, they don't thrill me at all. Social issues running high, and species civilization.